Hi, so it's Saturday night, June 2nd, and here we are at Douglas Orchard and Farm, and I'm with my good friend Jeff Barrasso, who happens to be a neighbor of the farm over around the corner. And I met Jeff because he's done some electrical work for me, a little plug. He's an electrician, Jeff Barrasso, electrician.
It's Barruso. Barruso,
Barruso. See, I got name issues.
Barruso.
So, I used to be called Vladimir, now I'm Aaron. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I want to introduce everybody out there to Douglas Orchard and Farm. And some of you may know the Wormy family used to own this orchard at one point, and we bought it, the Sokrat family, about just over 2 years ago, and it's now called Douglas Orchard and Farm. We now have a website, Facebook, we have Instagram, we have email lists, we have all that. And so we're trying to work with the community and the town, and we're bringing a concert series, and tonight is June 2nd, and we have Exit 17 from Franklin, Mass., and Jeff is lead singer, but all the other guys are awesome too. So Douglas Orchard and Farm is a diverse farm. We do a lot of different things. We don't just do corn. We're not just apple trees. We're apple trees, we're blueberries, we're all produce. We have farm animals, we have local raw honey, we have organic duck and chicken eggs, we have a country store, which is over there, and we now have concessions for novelty ice creams and waters and juices, and we do farm tours. So if you have a family that wants a private farm tour, we can do that. If you want to take, this is our pavilion we built last year. It's kind of like Kevin Costner said in Field of Dreams, if we build it, they will come.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're hoping. And so this is available for weddings, for yoga classes, for any kind of events here, and we are looking for more musicians with mega talent, because we want to become a venue in the orchard for people to have a family event. This is what we're about. So you're going to see my son Nick, who's a graduate of Stockbridge Agriculture School in UMass, and he's going to walk around with you and introduce you to some of the things that we're doing here at the farm. But welcome to Douglas Orchard and Farm with open arms. Welcome to our family from your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
These guys are living in our Ark, which is our portable coop, and we drag them around the property, and every other day they get fresh grass. They're eating all the bugs, and our grass is super lush just because of their manure and because they're picking all the insects out of it, and they're having fun at the same time. But this is our rooster, Orville, and they had access to this big garden over here all winter, and they just got to dig everything up, eat all the maggots out of the grounds, all the big bugs, and then this will be corn, bean, and squash, the Three Sisters plot, and we'll have pumpkins and corn and all the good stuff. The blueberries is very exciting because we have a pretty great crop this year, and we've only had to spray once. Again, this farm is an open book, and we will tell you everything that goes on with our vegetables and with our crops. And the vegetables, never sprayed. I never spray any of my vegetables. I use companion planting methods. I use chop and drop instead of weeding to add mulch on the beds. But these guys, we had to spray a fungicide, and they look fantastic. You can see all the little baby blueberries. And yeah, they're just loaded. It should be a good year. The blueberries will start about July and just continue on from there for at least a month and a half. And you can make pies and just eat them, and it'll be fantastic. All my garden beds are what I call organized chaos. There's so much food in here, but it doesn't look like it. The asparagus, this is only their second year, so next year we'll hopefully be able to harvest a little bit of it. And our strawberries are just starting out, so within 2 to 3 years we'll have a bunch of strawberries. And that's my goal, is to, when we have these concerts, be able to serve fruit. So you could eat, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and, ice cream and everything while you're enjoying the concerts. So it'll be a lot of fun. A lot to see in the future. This area eventually we will hope to be a little vineyard, but right now we there used to be a big rock wall here that we had to clear out, but there was a lot of glass in there, so we can't really run the pigs through it, so it's going to take a lot of time to restore the soil. Here's one of our main gardens, and again we use companion planting. We got, you know, peppers with what do I have in there? Spinach behind there, so the peppers can shade the spinach so the spinach doesn't bolt. But in here we have our little piggies. Come here, guys. They're very full, so they're going to take a nap. Come on. Come here. Get up from your nap. Come here. They're so full. I think my buddy fed them too much. What's up, baby? What's up? What's up? Come here. Oh. Yeah. They're just eating machines, and then they just sleep all day, and then they want belly rubs. And can I give you a belly rub? You want a little belly rub? Yeah. Oh. Oh, what's up? But these guys are working all summer. They're tilling up our garden beds. This area they're going to be tilling up this whole entire year, and this will be our new hoop house. So, and then we'll be able to have crops a month early. But you can just see they're just attention hogs. Oh. But it's amazing, at the end, 5 months from now, these pigs will be 250 to 300 pounds. They'll be massive. And they just get fed, you know, we get stuff from the food pantries, we get stuff from the grocery stores, we give them our own compost, we give them greens, and we just give them grain as a supplement to keep them full at night, nice and warm. But you can just see they've only been in here for 2 weeks, and they dig up all the rocks for us, so we can just put them in a pile, and then we don't have to deal with them later. So right in the back over there, you can see all of our new baby birds. They're quarantined off from the main flock for the entire year, but they get to see each other. So when we integrate them in the fall, it's flawless. You know, they already know each other, no issues. But you can see they're just so tiny. And we have our chickens on 3 food forests, and a food forest is pretty much a plot of land where you pick what grows there. So you can do apples, pears, peaches, and there's many different layers. You can go all the way to strawberries at the bottom, and, you know, have vines climbing up the trees, little bushes, and the idea is to produce as much fruit as possible, or as much food, and the birds can eat it, we can eat it, and then they fertilize at the same time. They eat all the pests that can attack the plants. So it's a big cycle, and this is sustainability at its finest. We have a water system that can flow through the whole property. We have to tweak it a little bit to, you know, figure out exactly, you know, how much water, and as the ducks start to swim in there, their poop actually creates a layer where the water can sit, instead of putting the mat where the mat doesn't let any water absorb into the property. And then if you put pipes, it doesn't absorb into the property either, so it doesn't do any benefit. So we use swales so the water can actually seep into the property, which then gives all the trees water. The birds can enjoy it as well. This whole area is actually cover cropped with mustard, vetch, you know, legumes that will help heal the soil. I have some corn planted in the back because the chicken manure is just so rich that the corn's just beautiful. But of course we keep our animals off the land for 3 months before we harvest it, just to let any diseases like E. coli just disappear. You know, we don't want to take any risk of anything happening. All these apple trees, you know, they're full of apples. Even if we don't get to use them, we can use them for cider. The birds can eat them. Yeah, this guy's gonna come after us a little bit, but he's gorgeous. I mean, the reason we have roosters, you know, it keeps the females happy, it keeps the predators, you know, if a hawk does happen to get in here, which is impossible because we do use the fishing line, and the hawks can actually see it from the sky. It reflects the light, and we've had no problem. The only time a hawk's gotten one of our chickens is I didn't put it dense enough. And then if you don't put it densely enough, then the hawks are very intelligent, so they know if there's a hole big enough for them to fit in. And she probably sat in that tree for 8 hours and just waited. But we give the birds fresh water every day, even though it doesn't look like it, because they just take a bath and it's dirty instantly. This is one of our ponds. You can see it's kind of dry, but eventually this whole system, we have a water collection system, and the ponds will fill up, and as they fill up, they'll drain into the swales and just continue down the whole system. It's very peaceful. I love to just sit here and listen. And that's my goal. Is I would really love people to come and enjoy the beauty of the farm as well as enjoy the produce that it's producing. And we have benches, and we're going to put more benches so we can enjoy it more. Because nature has a lot to teach us. We are animals, more or less. I know a lot of people don't like to think about that, but that's what we are, and we get to have control over the land. We have our hands, and we can figure out what to do and the best way to do it. And so these birds are there's so many bugs in this area, especially with the water that we have there. They're just eating bugs all day, but we do supplement them with Green Mountain Feeds organic, or Green Mountain Feeds, that's the company, but we give them the organic grain. It's a top quality grain. And it's mostly, again, just a supplement just to keep them nice and happy. And my dad and I are always fighting over whether to cut the grass or not, because I love how this looks. Every plant can just grow really tall, produce its seeds like this clover, and then the clover spreads, and clover is a legume, so it can just restore the nitrogen in the soil. But if you keep cutting it, you don't get the flowers, the bees don't really get any benefit. It looks nice to us because we love everything to be nice and maintained, but this is the real beauty right here. Here's one of our water collection systems. So we have this shed right here that houses all of our machines, or our tools, and then all the water from that gets collected into our tanks that then flows through a pipe and then just right through the system. And it's more efficient than it just pouring out here and going to waste, more or less. This way it can actually produce some food for us. And then over here we have our lambs. We just built our new lamb shed. And it's only the second day, so they're still a little skittish. They're missing mom. But, they just got to figure out that I'm their new mom. And I'm hoping that they can become friendly enough with me that I can move them around the farm. And then at night be able to coax them back with grain. And then they can sleep. And then I'll bring them out to a new area that they can eat all fresh grain. Fresh hay. But right now they're just having a blast in there. They're just eating the grass and having a blast at the same time. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. You can go a little closer if you want.
Sure.
I wonder, it's actually feeding time. I might go shake up some grain. I'll be right back.
All right.
This new building is going to be our winter propagation unit, where we'll be able to start our plants really early, as well as hopefully do some winter greens. So we can have lettuce mix in the middle of winter, so you can get some good nutrients in the middle of winter instead of eating, vegetables from Mexico or China, wherever they come from. But we'll also have 2 public bathrooms as well as a commercial kitchen, which can open the door to cider donuts, making our own cider, jams, jellies. Literally endless possibilities.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you all for coming. We welcome you to our family, from your family, and I think that's awesome. We're here for Douglas and the community, and hopefully we all can grow together and enjoy the fruits of my son's labor. And my wife just got out of work. She works in Boston at the Brigham and Women's Hospital. I'm her best fan and I'm her manager. She's been there 32 years, so hey! So I want to say a couple of things. I want to thank Exit 17 for playing tonight with the beautiful show. It took them a couple hours to set up. When you go see an event, it isn't just the guys on the stage, it's the time before, the time after. So I think that's a really great thing that they do. And Jeff Barrasso, who's behind me, Barruso, I keep saying it wrong, is our neighbor. He lives the street over, and he's an electrician. If you need an electrician, talk to him. And so, anyway, I wanted to say that the store is going to close during the concert, and during the break it'll open again in a half hour after the concert. But the concession in that window will be open all night that the band is playing. And again, you can still get concession ice creams and everything in the store when the store is open, when they're break, and then after. You kind of get it. So And then my son Nick, who's a graduate of Stockbridge Agriculture School, wants to say something, and thank you so much. Thanks for coming out.
All righty. Good evening, and welcome to Douglas Orchard and Farms, the Pavilion. I am Farmer Nick, and during the next week, I would like you to question where your food comes from. Try and check your local restaurant and grocery store's ethics by asking where and how your food was grown. We finally live in an age where we can choose where and what we eat. So without further ado, coming to you live from the Pavilion, please join me in welcoming Exit 17!
That's the most applause we've got before we played, ever.
We'll take it.
Somebody should have gone.
rain. And I told her don't get scared 'cause you're gonna despair. I got a people giving if I wanna spend a little with a long woman in a black dress. Just to find out a beautiful tone. Well, just one look, it wasn't bad house 'cause that old woman had it all. Had it all. Had it all. Had it all. Oh, she had it all. Had it all. Had it all. Oh, she had it all.
All right. That's a classic.
I wonder how you're feeling. This ringing in my ear. I've no one to relate to except the sea. Her man, I believe it. I'm kneeling on the floor. It has to be a force, but to a fall. Stars around shining. But all I really wanna know, I want you to show me the way. Every day I
tonight. Everybody say rock and roll!
We're going to do one more and then take a short little break. I just want to thank them for having us down here tonight. We are Exit 17. Hope everybody sticks around for the second set. We're going to take a short little break. The concessions are open, so help yourself to the concessions and stick around for the second set. We got one more now.
Hey everybody, I want you to want me.